Life isn't always a bed of roses, and it's certainly not easy for anyone. The truth is, most people experience difficulties and hardships at some point in their life. When these hard times occur, you can either choose to survive them and come out the other side stronger and wiser, or you can let them defeat you. And if you're looking for some inspiration to help you get through your own difficult times, then today's video will hopefully be helpful. I try to remind myself of each of these 5 painfully obvious truths whenever things get tough in my own life. Number 1, the past can never be changed, only learned from. When you think about it, this is one of life's most obvious truths, but also one of the most easily forgotten. When something bad happens, we want to go back and change things so that the bad thing never occurs. But unfortunately, we can't change the past. It happened, and we have to accept that fact if we want to move forward. The best way to do this is by learning from our mistakes and setbacks. Not just identifying them as such, but actually understanding what went wrong and how our actions contributed to making those mistakes happen. That way, when similar situations arise in the future, you'll have a better idea of how to handle them because you've already experienced their consequences before. Learning from our mistakes is an essential part of growing as a person, and it's something that we all need to do. We may not always like the lessons we learn, but they're necessary in order to become better versions of ourselves. Number 2, you can't control everything. There are 2 ways of looking at this. The first is that you'll never have as much control in your life as you might like. The second is that you don't need as much control as you might think. The first approach is the one most people take. They want more control over their lives, and they feel that if only they had it, everything would be better. The problem with this approach is that it makes you feel like a victim of circumstances, which can make life seem harder than it needs to be. The second approach is to realize that you can control only so much, and that it's not worth trying to do more than that. This might seem like a defeatist attitude, but it's not. It's actually liberating. You don't have to worry about things you can't control, and can instead focus on what you can do, and let go of the rest. Number 3, life isn't fair. When you're young, it can be easy to think that life is fair. You might believe that everyone gets what they deserve, and that if something bad happens to you, it must be because someone else did something wrong. However, as we grow older, most of us realize just how mistaken this idea is. Life isn't fair at all, and those who are lucky enough to have good luck aren't necessarily any better or more deserving than anyone else. You may have heard the phrase, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. This is absolutely true because the reality is we can never predict everything that will happen in our lives. There will always be surprises, both good and bad. You just have to accept that life is full of random events that will oftentimes get in the way of your plans. But instead of obsessively worrying about what could happen, try focusing on the things you can do, like how hard you work or how much effort you put into a task. Try to be grateful for what you have and put your energy into making the most of it. If you want something, then work hard to achieve it. Don't waste time complaining about what could have been or wishing life were easier. Instead, focus on making the best of your situation, even if that means accepting things as they are right now. Number 4, you are responsible for your own happiness. There are a lot of people out there who don't think they're responsible for their own happiness. They think that their happiness is something that's handed to them by other people or by chance. They feel like they're powerless to change their moods, and as a result, they tend to blame the world around them when things aren't going well. This is a mistake. You have to take responsibility for your own happiness and understand that if you want to be happy in life, then it's up to you alone to create that feeling within yourself. No one else can do it for you, and no one else should. When you understand that you're responsible for your own happiness, then you'll be able to take action. You'll be able to make changes in your life that will lead to greater levels of contentment and joy. You won't have any excuses anymore, because you know it's up to you alone to create that feeling within yourself. Number 5, it's okay not to have all the answers in life. When you're just getting started in life, it's easy to think you have all the answers. You know exactly what your life will be like, and that it'll be great. You can see yourself in 10 years living in your dream house with your ideal partner and having your own kids. But the truth is that no one has all the answers in life. Not even your parents or grandparents, who might seem like they have everything figured out. They don't. It's okay if you don't know where you're going next week or next year. There's nothing wrong with being uncertain about such things as long as you keep moving forward towards whatever goals you set for yourself along the way. Being open-minded about these things isn't just necessary for personal growth. It also allows us to not stress ourselves out over worrying about things we can't control anyway. The best thing you can do is focus on the present moment and be happy with who you are today. You don't have to have all of your answers figured out right now. In fact, it's impossible. So instead of worrying about tomorrow, take the time to appreciate what's happening around you right now. That's all for today's video, but it looks like YouTube thinks this next video is what you need to see next. Why don't you give it a watch and see if they're right? And until next time, have a great day.